Hello and welcome to RedHawk Rewind, the official podcast of Miami Athletics. I'm Tim Carey.
And I'm Dave Meyer. What's up, Tim?
Good morning, Dave.
How are you today?
Why are you laughing already?
Because I'm afraid what you're going to say next.
So this morning I walk into the office. I stopped and said hello to several people, which I thought was kind of a polite, customary thing to do. And I get to the Dave's office and I go to say hi. And your first word out of your mouth was,
How are you doing?
that is such a lie. You looked at me in your office doorway and you said, what? And I did not feel like that was really polite or inviting to further conversation. So I just kept walking to my office because I didn't really know what to do with that. And then you immediately yelled after me, wow, somebody's cranky today, which was true, but I'm not sure that it was the person. Do you want to defend yourself right now?
I really can't. I don't know. I was really focused on something, and I looked up, and there you were, and it just caught me off guard.
But it wasn't a query, like
I
a
don't know.
questioning what. It was a rude what.
It was.
And like if you were to go to Family Feud and have the, here are the 10 most likely ways to greet someone, how are you? Hi, what's up? What's going on? None of those escape your lips in that moment.
I mean, you don't think what could get on to 10?
No.
No.
But the worst part is since then, I've seen you 2 or 3 other times in the hallway today, and you just have started replacing that with other words. So you literally looked at me a couple minutes ago and you're like, where?
How?
Which makes no sense. Now, they're
Right.
good journalistic words.
Yeah.
Like in our hallway, used to have the what, how, why, where, when, who. So they'll help us be good writers, but it isn't really make for great conversation. And since this is a podcast conversation, how about this? We're going to bring in our special guest. Bridget Flood is here from the collegiate skating team. When she gets here, can you please greet her in something besides what?
I'll try.
We'll be right back. And welcome back to RedHawk Rewind. We want to welcome in our special guest, Bridget Flood, a senior on the collegiate synchronized skating team here at Miami from Erie, Colorado. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Bridget, you're the first ever synchronized skater to be on this huge podcast. I mean, just think about that a little bit.
That is huge.
But
It's very huge.
my first question, honestly, is what is the difference between collegiate and the collegiate and the national team?
So we have collegiate. We compete domestically against other college teams. So all of our competitors, they're not always through a specific school, but you have to be a college student to skate on a collegiate team. And then we have our senior team, and they represent Team USA. They compete internationally. They're in Europe right now. They just competed in the UK last week, and they'll be competing in Poland this weekend.
So,
And they have the chance of qualifying for the World Championships.
what was your path like to getting on the Miami synchronized skating team?
So I started skating when I was 6. I think it really stemmed from the 2010 Olympics. I saw all the skating events on the TV, and I was like, I want to do that. And my mom was a skater for a brief time when she was younger, so she was all for it. And my whole family and I went on to one of those public skates. And they gave me one of those little, I don't know what they're called, but the little things that you can hold on to. And I skated around it for 30 seconds, and I was like, no, screw this. I don't need this. So I threw it off to the side, and I just kept skating. And I guess I was kind of a natural at it. So my mom signed me up for lessons, and I was actually born in Minnesota. So this all happened in Minnesota. And the rink that I skated at had a synchro team. So I skated on the little beginner team for a couple years and loved it. And then I moved to Colorado, and there was a synchro team, but I will say on the West Coast it's really not very popular. So it was an hour away from where I lived and just kind of inconvenient to get to. So I kind of switched over to individual skating and competed by myself for a little while. And I guess I kind of realized that I didn't love competing by myself, but I still love to skate. So that's when I switched over to synchro again. And when I was in 7th grade, the World Championships were in Colorado Springs. And I had never had any exposure to any type of high-level skating like that at all. Well, synchro related. And I was like, this is so cool. Like, I want to do that.
Did you get to go in person?
Yes,
Okay.
I saw it in person. Yeah, it was awesome. And there's teams all over the world. There's teams from Australia, China, Japan. Yeah, and I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. And also, just because the synchro world is so small, like every competition it has every division in it. So I'm like on this younger team, and we got to watch all the senior and collegiate teams. And I remember always watching Miami, and I was so inspired by how strong they looked, how fast they were, and I was like, Miami's where I want to go.
Is there like a brand to Miami skating? Sorry, I'm gonna like kind of rabbit trail there for a second, but like
Yeah.
I've heard that of people. Like, what I mean, when you watch a bunch of teams, what makes Miami Miami? And like, I mean, what was it about that you talked about the strong or whatever that just jumped out to you as you're watching all these different programs?
So I think the collegiate team specifically has a really strong history in their division. I don't know what the streak was, but they had a really long streak of getting first place at nationals. And I think that being here, I realized like how much we focus on getting back to the basics instead of just throwing stuff out there that would get a lot of points. Like, we go back to the basics and start from the beginning and then work our way up, which is something that I think we have more opportunity to do because we train so much. We have the time to focus on that.
Tim, I don't know if I know. Do you know how to skate?
Heavens no.
Like
Like if
even
that
a little?
that's like the world record of like, you know, needing least amount of time needing some kind of assisted device was like 30 seconds for her.
Yeah.
For me it would be 30 years.
Okay, so we're starting pretty low. Bar is low here. If you had to give him a couple tips on how to become a better skater, just so he doesn't fall and crack his skull open, like what are some tips you could give him?
If you're worried about cracking your skull open,
Which should be the
would-
number
I
one
would
concern.
maybe start with a helmet.
Okay, number one, good first tip.
You know, I've never skated in hockey skates, but with figure skates we have a toe pick, which I think is a little bit more stable. Bending your knees, that's definitely a big
Holding
one.
onto the wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe hold on to the little handrail.
Give him a full-time cart, I know.
So you saw Miami, you thought about like I mean, fast, strong, that looks really cool. And then fast forward, how did you end up at, like, what was the process like to get onto the team?
Yeah, so there really are only 3 colleges in the U.S. that offer synchronized skating as a varsity sport. So that was really a big thing. And I just thought Miami's the best, so I got to shoot for the best. And I didn't even make the team my first year. So my friend and I that I skated with, we were planning on trying out. So skating is not a sport where you get recruited. You have to come in and try out. So we were just like, we want to go to Miami. We committed like super early, and it was never really a question for me. Like, I knew I wanted to be a psych major, and I knew that I could get that anywhere. So the whole school part was never really part of my consideration in where I wanted to go to school. It was really specifically skating. So I committed. I never even toured the school. And then come in for tryouts and ended up not making the team. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I'm going to this school all the way across the country. And like, I'm not even going for the reason that I wanted to go to it for. But I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to try again, spend the year working really hard, and try out the next year and see what happens. And I think it was a really positive learning experience overall. You know, when you're an athlete, you kind of have to it's inevitable that you're going to miss out on things and because of practices, competitions, whatever. So I was able to kind of put skating to the side for a year and like focus on what I wanted to do, because skating had always been like a primary part of my life. So for this year it wasn't, and I was able to, go out and do things. I'm super into live music, so I went to a bunch of festivals and concerts and stuff and just had fun and learned more about myself in a separate context. And I got really into the gym that year, learning about nutrition and things like that. And I also skated on the club team. And then I tried out again, and luckily I made it. So now we're here.
I don't think what you're explaining is normal. Like most people, when they are told, "Hey, you're not good enough. You're not going to play here or compete here." What was in it in you of like, no, this isn't. We're going to fight back, and we're going to come back and try again.
It was humbling for sure. But skating has always been a really huge part of my life. So, and I wasn't really ready to let it go. I guess that's kind of what I experimented with when I wasn't on the team, just to see if skating was really what I wanted to do. And I decided that it was. So
When you made it,
again.
how did you find out, and like what was maybe what went through your head? Like, what do you remember about learning like I'm going to be on the team as a sophomore?
So my first tryout, we tried out with the people who were previously on the team, and we got to skate with them. And then the next year, they didn't have any of the returners, and it was just completely new people trying out. And I felt very calm, collected. I was very confident because I knew that I had done this before. And I kind of felt inside that I was like, I know I'm going to make the team. And when they sent out the email, I ended up making it, and I was like, this is awesome. Like this is what I've been waiting for. So
I mean, you've come a long way from not making the team,
yeah.
to then making the team, and last year I think you were named the Collegiate Skater of the Year. I mean,
Yeah.
that's quite the
That was
rise. Like,
huge.
can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so those awards we vote ourselves on our teammates.
Gotcha.
And so that was super cool to be recognized by my peers. It's a really, really great honor. And I was not expecting to win it. So for my name to be announced when they were sending out the awards was crazy.
One of the things that I don't think people really understand about the life of a student athlete in general, how much goes into it from a prep perspective, but skating specifically, how much work there is besides just what's on the ice in the rink. I mean, like you walk into Goggin and you see lifts happening in the foyer because like people are just getting used to like let's not do this on ice until we get it in real world. But dance studio, lifting, like just talk us through in a given week of the year, like what the schedule might be, not just on ice practice, but kind of everything else that goes into excelling with this team.
So we practice 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. We have 2 practices a day. One is on the ice and one is off the ice. So on Monday we'll have ice for like 2 hours, and then we'll do off ice, which is just going through certain parts of choreography, working on the unison of movements and stuff. And then Tuesday we have on ice for about an hour, and then we have weights.
What time do you get on the ice in the morning? Is it early?
It's okay. So we have 30-minute rule, so we have to be there 30 minutes before to warm up, and then we get on the ice around 7.
7 a.m.
Yeah.
If I told my daughter right now she had to go to practice at 7 a.m., she'd probably drop out of school.
6:30 for 30.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, and my sophomore year I lived North Quad, like right by Millette, so it was about a mile walk to the rink. Yes.
So anyway, we're back to Tuesday. Sorry. I was just
Yes.
really curious on how early you had to be there. So
Yeah, it's only Monday, Wednesday, Friday though.
gotcha.
Yeah, so Tuesday we have an hour and then weights, and then Wednesday we have about an hour and a half, and then we have off ice dance with Lana K. And that's the same thing, going through movements, working on unison. She's very specific about our performance, so sometimes we'll stand there and make faces at her to work on what facial expressions we're gonna make. And then we stretch and stuff. Thursday, on ice for an hour, weights. Friday, cardio, and on ice for an hour, hour and a half.
So, Tim, do you think she practices more, or do we talk about food / go to lunch more every week?
I mean, we don't usually get to 2 hours on our lunch break, and if you're doing it twice a day, then I think she's
This is
definitely
nuts. That is nuts.
Your first 2 years on this team, you've won national titles, like you said.
Yes.
Miami skating has kind of been known for that. But like, what is the experience like when you're on the podium and you hear, a score or a national championship? Like, I found this picture, and like the looks of
Oh, yes.
joy and like,
It's an incredible photo.
Yes, it is.
and this last one was in Colorado, right? So I mean,
Mhm.
close to home for you. So just kind of talk us through like the feeling of kind of climbing the mountain, so to speak.
So this one was at Midwesterns last year, which is like our sectional competition. And we started the season not doing great. We had just gotten new coaches, and we got second at our first competition. And this was coming off of a year where we won the entire year. So we get second. That wasn't great. And then we go to our next competition, we get fifth. And we're like, wow, okay, this is not good. So this competition was right after our J term. We usually come back 3 weeks before to train. And I think the competition before we had gotten like 90 points. And this one, so we're standing in the kiss and cry. This is where we wait for our score.
What a name for it.
I know.
That's amazing.
I know. We're waiting for our score, and they announce it, and it's like 111 points, which is a crazy jump to go from 90 to 111. So we were all very surprised, as you can tell.
You have a special connection with your head coach.
I
right?
do.
Can you walk us through that a little bit?
Yeah. Okay, so Katie skated for the same organization as I did in high school, but she was a few years before me. And then she had gone off to skate for the Haydenettes, which is the most decorated senior team in the U.S. And then she came back during COVID. The first season back after COVID was my senior year of high school. And she would come in once a week and do skills and stuff with us.
So she
And
coached you in high school.
She did. Yeah.
Okay. So you're here.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff we were being told is that part of the reason she came here was because of you.
Yeah. So Carla and Leanne told us they were retiring, and I was like, I know someone who would be perfect for this job. So I text her and I'm like, hey, like, you should come here. Like, there's an open coaching position. And I didn't really think she was going to, but they announced our coach and it was her, and I was like,
So you weren't involved in anything from point A to the
No,
end,
no,
like
no.
you had no idea, and then it's just
no,
like
I had no idea.
So she didn't give you a finder's fee or anything? I mean, you at least put the little seed in her head, right?
I know.
That's incredible.
I heard rumors about her coming here, but I wasn't totally sure until they announced it. And we're both just sitting, especially 'cause she helped me my senior year. I worked with her privately. We did like tryout simulations and stuff, and ended up not making the team, and then made the team. Now she's here, and we're like, what are we both doing here? This is crazy.
Speaking of coaching, what is Coach's College?
Okay, so Coach's College is, I guess, like a seminar for all different disciplines of skating, and you basically, well, the route that I'm taking is more the judging route. I don't really think coaching is my forte, but yeah, I want to get into judging just to stay involved in the sport.
Continue. Keep going. I have so many questions.
So it's a seminar. Luckily, it's in Colorado Springs, so it's super close to me. And I go every year, and we sit in a room for 12 hours a day for like 3 or 4 days, and we learn about the rule book.
Pause for a second. Like, when you're talking about practicing the facial expressions, like Dave would not be a good skater because like I'm not even be able to like concentrate because you're over here making. Okay, what are your questions about Coaches College and 12 hours a day?
Okay. I want to ask about the judging. All right.
Yes.
Skating for dummies right here, okay?
Yeah.
Your score comes out, right? Even there, I think it was like 111.23. Okay. I'm dumb. I don't understand the scoring. Walk us through it a little bit. How do we get to 111, fine, right? Some falls like 0.23. How does that all work?
Okay, I can try to explain it, but it's a bit like a different language. So stop me if you get confused. But
You probably should just stop.
so we have our overall score. It's split into 2 parts, the technical score and the component score. So the technical score is depending on what division you're competing in, you have a list of required elements that you can do or that you have to do.
Yep.
And you can add what are called features to make it more difficult. So the more you add, the higher level you get. They get leveled between 1 and 4. So each level has a base value assigned to it. So depending on the difficulty that you get called, it doesn't always get called. Sometimes you can attempt it and the judges don't fully see what you're trying to do, so they won't count it. But you get the base value, and then it gets judged on, I guess, how visually appealing it is. And you can either lose points from it or you can gain points. So it's on a scale of -5 to +5. And if you do it well, you get closer to 5. If you do it not so well, if you have falls and stuff, you get closer to -5. So then that gets, I don't really know the math that they use, but it gets factored into what the base value is. And then you add them up, and that's your technical score. And then the component score, they judge skating skills, presentation, composition, things like that. And then they score that 1 to 10.
So, sorry, when you're out there skating as a group, I mean, you're not just out there. Like, there's a plan going in. You're trying to add these many, much more difficulty. There's a lot more to it, right? Than we're
Very
just
strategic.
kind of skating around. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's very eye-opening to see the other side of it, because sometimes you just like, oh, like the coach is making us do this, like why? But there's a lot of strategy that goes into it.
So what is it about judging that intrigued you? I mean, like lots of Miami skaters go on to futures in the sport in differing ways, but what about that path? And you're like, yeah, I think I might want to look into that.
Well, I knew that I wanted to stay involved in the sport, doing something. And like I said, I don't think coaching is my path. And I'm always the person that's like sitting there with our score sheet, like analyzing it. Like I'll stare at it for an hour on the bus ride home, trying to figure out like where we missed points, where we gained points. So I think it just...
One of your teammates called you like a human skating rule book. So, I mean,
Yeah.
like, you know, like people
Yeah.
come to you with questions of like,
Yeah.
wait, that didn't make sense or whatever.
How thick is this rule book?
It's pretty thick. It's probably like... And it's the most confusing language too, 'cause they translate it between languages. It's like
Gotcha.
the standard rule book for all teams. So it's just...
I want to talk
a
about
lot.
music a little bit. Now, like, I was a music major in college, so like, I
Okay.
love music. But
Nice.
before we get to, because you mentioned concerts and live music and
Mhm.
whatever, but I don't know if you know, like they skate the same program the entire year. So like you have a certain song, you start working on it in August, and I'm sure it has different tweaks and stuff, but all the way up until nationals in March, right?
Mhm.
Like, so does that song, like when you hear it, if you hear it 5 years later, is like
Yeah.
like this random reflex reaction, like does it get stuck in your head as you're walking to class? I don't know. Like, I mean, that seems like that song would dominate your life.
I wouldn't say it really gets stuck in my head, but it's usually at this point of the season where I get really tired of it, 'cause we're just sitting at practice, like playing it same sections over and over and over again.
What song is it this year?
This year we're skating to, it's a mashup of Thriller and Is It Scary both by Michael Jackson.
Do you approve, Tim?
I mean, I got to see it at intermission. Like, I mean, it's pretty cool.
All right.
But yeah, every time I bartend at one of the bars here, and they played on Halloween. They played Thriller like so many times. Every time I heard it, I'm like going through the steps in my head, like the counts. Yeah, I'm never gonna be able to hear that song the same again.
So we tried to do a little bit of research on, as you can probably tell, where I got all these questions. But I stumbled across, or Tim mentioned that the RedHawk amphitheater. I have never heard of this, and he's like, "How do you not know what that is?"
It's like my favorite place.
This is
yeah, he's got a picture
it
of
is so cool. Like I texted it to
it's
my wife, like,
beautiful.
"Hey, here's our next vacation." I mean, it just is amazing. So walk us, what's that a little bit about?
So Red Rocks is a natural amphitheater. I'm a psych major, so I don't really know how the sound science works, but they built in a stage and stands and stuff, and they have concerts there pretty much year round. But during the day, people go and work out there. If you've heard the stereotype about Coloradans, about how they're always just like outside working out, it's true. So you can go during the day, do workouts on the stairs and stuff. I've gone. You can like zigzag through the stairs, and it's like 2 miles. I've done yoga on the rocks, which was super cool.
How many concerts do you think you've seen there?
Probably like 15, somewhere around there.
I've been to like 2 concerts in my life. So.
What's the best concert you've ever seen? Is that a fair question? Or the
Yeah.
first couple that popped to mind?
So I'm super into electronic music. So I don't know if you've heard of them, but Odessa. It wasn't at Red Rocks. It was at CU Boulder. That was the best concert ever. They have a whole drum line that they bring out, and it's like super cool.
So
By far my favorite.
I always try and have a themed game that our guests can play against Dave, every one.
Okay.
And so today I thought we would do Red Rocks trivia. But I'm a little concerned,
Okay.
A, because you have home field advantage, right?
Just
Yeah.
a
Being
bit.
from there.
Yeah, just a bit.
And B, when I walked in the office this morning, Dave was studying Red Rocks because of this. So like I'm concerned that he may actually know some of this stuff.
He might.
But
I do not.
we're just going to play a little over under and see how you do.
Okay.
So somebody picks the number they think is right, and the other person just has to decide which side they want to be on, over or under. So, I mean, you talked about exercise on the steps, right?
Yes.
So here we go. How many steps are there from the stage to the top plaza?
I want to say,
Oh, sorry.
He's counting the picture.
I think it's like 150.
Higher or lower?
Higher. I just counted them.
From that picture?
Yeah.
193
Well,
point for
yeah.
Dave. He has been on a little winning streak lately. Like he started 0 and forever, but he's been a little better. How many feet above sea level is Red Rocks Park?
How many feet? Say 4,000.
Higher.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever heard like Mile High City, whatever? Yeah,
Oh, that's
5,000.
true.
This is actually 6,450. So, when was the earliest documented performance in the natural amphitheater? So, at some point in time, they built
Ooh.
all this cool stage and stuff, but I mean, like they did concerts and things there even before. So, the first documented performance in this natural setting. What year?
1956.
Earlier or later?
It's got to be earlier.
1906.
Oh. Did not know that.
So then I come
Yeah.
to you.
Who's winning right now?
You're ahead. You're not winning. You don't win till it's over.
Okay,
We talk about this every week.
So who's ahead?
What year did the actual constructed building open?
Looks pretty old. Oh, 1942.
Earlier or later?
Later.
That was actually, Dave got this. That was actually one of your best guesses of the entire season. It was 1941. So, good for you. How many people?
You're from Colorado, right? Okay, just making sure.
How many people? I told you he studied. Does the amphitheater seat officially? This picture is like worth its weight in gold.
It
for
really
both
is
of you.
great. We're both tilting our
I'd
heads
say
sideways.
5,000.
That's the exact same number I was gonna say.
It's possible she's exactly right.
Can we go for a push? I'll take lower.
9,525.
Way more.
How much did construction cost between materials and labor?
In 1941.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The picture's not going to tell you that.
$1,000. It looks pretty. There's not a lot there.
$1,000,
1941.
more or less, to build Red Rock.
More.
473,164.
What? Let me see this thing. There's more stuff there.
We are tied, by the way. This was.
Is this the winning question now?
No, 3 more.
Okay.
Who went first that time?
I did. She laughed at my answer.
Okay. Bridget, the Red Rocks Visitor Center and Hall of Fame opened in 2003. How much did it cost to build?
20,000.
Do you have a picture of it?
More or less, I do not.
We'll go with more.
$26.4 million.
See? Come on.
I was so far off.
Dave, when the Beatles played Red Rocks in 1964, how much did tickets cost?
You got to pay to get in there? It looks like there's no gate or anything.
Oh, there's gates.
Okay.
Yeah.
$4.
More or less to see the Beatles in
$4
1964?
more.
$6.60.
I mean, that's pretty close.
That was not a bad guess.
is this
Only
it?
3/4 of the seats sold, making it the only concert on the Beatles' initial American tour that did not sell out. But some people blame the lack of ticket takers or gate security, as you were saying.
Yeah.
Eyewitness reports said they never saw Red Rocks more full than it was when the Beatles were there. Widespread panic. Is it your turn now?
No, she laughed at my $4 answer too.
Widespread panic. I should keep a possession arrow or something. Holds the record for the most sellouts at Red Rock for one.
See, I don't
group of
even know
artists.
who that is.
Oh,
Say the question again.
widespread panic.
I don't know what that is either.
Will, do you know widespread panic? He does. He's our music expert over there. So there's like, how many times have they sold out Red Rocks?
I don't know, like 7.
More or less?
I mean, they sound so popular. We'll go higher. More.
Because Will's over there like
Yeah.
pointing to the ceiling. 75 is the record. Congratulations. I'm very proud of you.
Wow.
Good job.
Jeez, all that studying helped.
You never would have known that your record would come down to widespread panic.
I still don't know.
Next
what
week,
that
I'm
is,
going to
but-
make up like fake music groups and see if you know which one is real and which one is not. We like to end with something a little more serious, a little less panicky. What is the best piece of advice that you would say you have ever received?
I think this is probably something I have told myself actually, but it's not that deep is something that I always remind myself because it really isn't, you know. I came here really with no plan, and it ended up working out, and I think that's how everything goes. Like, it always works out even if it's not what you were expecting.
Bridget, appreciate it. Tim, when can fans see them in action next?
So next couple competitions, Midwestern Championships are January 24th in Michigan, and then Tri-State in Dearborn, all leading up to Nationals, which are Salt Lake City
Salt Lake City.
in March.
Yeah.
So
Amazing.
a busy few weeks for synchronized skating. You can check MiamiRedHawks.com and find links to watch and follow along with the scores. And then Bridget can explain the scores to you later. We will be back next week with another new edition of Red Hawk Rewind.